welcome to the online lecture number 8 of GE 103. So in this class today, we'll discuss about a very important uh, logic or syntax of C programming, which is called loop. So to start with to explain the concept of loop in C programming, we'll start again with a small flowchart. So I hope you know what is called flowchart. And also, I hope you are practicing to write flowchart as well as programming. Okay. So now this flowchart is designed for a special purpose. So what is the special purpose? It is the program here that we want to write is that we want to find out the sum of all the numbers from 1 to n. For example, suppose here if the value of n is 100, then we want to sum all the values from 1 to 100, like 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus like plus up to 100. So how to write the program? First of all, we will start here, then we'll read the value of n. If the value of n is 10, we have to add from 1 to 10. If the value of n is 50, then we have to add from 1 to 50. If the value of n is 100, then we have to add from 1 to 100, and assume that we cannot use any other formulas. Maybe you can ask the sir, there is a formula, I can use formula directly to add this. Assume that there is no formula. This is the first step. Assume that there is no formula exists to do this. Straightforward formula. Then how to write it? And here the value of n is not fixed, right? Assume that you will write a scanf function for this when you are writing a C program, so your value is not fixed. Sometimes you will enter 10, sometimes you will enter 50, sometimes someone will enter 200 also. Whatever the value it must add all the values from 1 to n. Okay, so how to perform this sum? To do this sum, we are using two more variables. In there is a variable called sum here, which initial value is 0. A very important point here, that you have to initialize the value here with 0. Sum must take initial value as 0. And there is another variable that we are using, I is initially it is 1. I is 1. Okay, now we'll go here and check this. If I is greater than 100, just every time you have to remember two things: the the current value of sum and the current value of I. And assume that the value of n is 50. Now assume value of n is 50, and every time you have to remember the current value of sum and current value of I. Current value of sum is 0, current value of I is 1. Here I greater than 100, no I is 1, so it is, the statement will be false, so it will come here. And once you come here, what is doing? Sum equal to sum plus I. So what is the value of sum now? Current value of sum is 0, so 0 plus I is 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. So now the new value of sum will be 1. Okay, and now what is the value of I? Now I equal to I plus 1. So in the current value of I is 1, so every time it will increment because there is plus 1, so I will be 2. So new value of sum is 1 and new value of I will be 2. Then again we will go here. See, from here again we are going here. This is called looping. That means you will perform this work again and again. So once we'll go here again, we'll check whether I is greater than 100 or not. What is the current value of I now? The current value of I is, okay, there is a small issue here. Assume that the value of n is 100, because here I have written 100, otherwise we have to write is n. Okay, let me consider this is n, then everything is fine. So okay, then we are going for n equal to 50 only. And now when it is again here, now the current value of I is 2. Current value of I is 2 and sum is 1. So now 2 is greater than n. Yes, 2 is no, 2 is not greater than n, because n is 50 and I is 2. So again it will come here, sum equal to sum plus I. Current value of sum is 1. So 1 plus I is 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3. And now what is the value of I now? Value of I will be 2 plus 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. So now the new value of I will be 3. So in this way, this will continue looping. This will continue looping, and until this value of I reaches n. So in this way, you can calculate the total sum of starting from 1 to n number. Okay, so let me write this code in C program so that it will be easy to understand for you. uh, Let me write it from the scratch. I'll not use for this here. Okay, and I'm not taking input from keyboard. I'm directly giving him suppose n equal to 100, not taking scanf here, and integer sum is required, integer I is also required. Okay, and now I'll write for I equals equal to 1 while I less than n. It will go inside sum equal to sum plus I, and then I equal to I plus 1. Okay, and then it will print. So let me print this for you. If I run this code now, then see it is showing this is the total final output, but it should be I equal to 1. So there was a mistake in my previous code. It should be I equal, less than equal to, not just less than, I less than equal to n. So if now I run this code, then output will be this. Ignore these lines, ignore this line. This is your output. The sum is 5050. This is a different editor I'm using. This is called NetBeans, but I'm not advising you to do use this, but I'm using it here because I feel it easy to use. Okay, so now how this code is working and how it is adding from 1 to 100, because since the value of n is 100, so what I am doing here actually 1 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus dot 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 plus 100. This total sum is actually 5050. I am doing this, I am calculating this, and again I have said that there is a formula to do this, but I'm assuming that there is no formula. There is no formula. So how to do this? So if you try to relate this with this flow chart, then initially I have taken a variable called n is 100. I'm not taking input from scanf, so directly I'm giving n equal to 100. And next I'm taking a value for sum, which this variable will store the final value actually. And then I'm using a variable another variable called I equal to 1. Okay, so now what I am doing here, how I am calculating this 1 plus 2 plus 3 up to 100. See, every time there is a this while loop, this while statement is a loop. It means that whatever written inside this while loop, these two lines will execute again and again, again and again until this condition is true. Means until this condition is false. Every time if this condition is true, this will continue executing again and again. This is called loop. Here you can see that these statements, these two lines will be executed again and again, again and again, again and again until this condition is true. Once this condition is true, it will come out, right? It will, so while loop works in a different way, just opposite. In while loop, until this condition is true, this will repeat again and again, again and again. Okay, so now n equal to 100, sum equal to 0, I equal to 1. Okay. Now here will when you will come here, I less than equal to 100. I less than equal to 100 or not. I is currently current value of I is 1. Definitely it is less than 100 or less than equal to 100. So it is true. The moment it is true will come here. And now sum equal to sum plus I. What is the current value of sum? Current value of sum is 0. So sum plus I will be 0 plus 1. That is sum is 1. So now current value of sum is 1. Now I will be incremented. I is now I plus 1. Now the next value of I will be 2. And from here again we'll go here in while loop. And now again I will check if the new value of I is less than n or not. Yes, new value of I is 2 and n is 100, so it is still less than 100. So again this condition will be true. This condition will, so again it will come here, and again it will do sum equal to sum plus I. So what is the current value of sum? Current value of sum is 1. So now 1 plus 2 is 3. So new value of sum will be 3. In this way it will continue again and again, again and again until I the value of I reach 101. The moment the value of I reach 101, this statement will be false and will coming out here and will print the current value of sum. So let me explain this code in a more step-by-step way. And for this, I'll use a term called debugging that I will explain you later. Okay. So now you will understand it in more proper way. So now if I start executing here, you can see here the values. Where is the variables? Yes. See the how many variables I am using: n, sum, and I. See the current values here, you can see the current values. Current value of n is 100, and that will be fixed every time. I am not changing it. Just concentrate on these two values, sum and I. Some currently I have to I have not executed any line. So now see the green line is here. So the moment I press here next, this line will be executed. After executing this line, sum will be again 0. Sum is 0. Now it is in this line. So see, you can see current value of I is still 1, but after executing this line, the current value of I should be 1. See, see, now the current value of I is 1. Now the while loop will start. Means you can see the where the green line is now. Green line means this line is the next line to be executed by C program, but it is not executed yet. So what I am doing here, I am using a concept called debugging. So the moment I have explained the way I have explained you that how to run a code. So in this way, you just whenever you give run command, it's just run the entire program at a time. But if you go for debugging, then it will execute your program step by step, and sometimes it is very important, but I'm skipping the detail of debugging. I'll explain it later. But now what it is happening here, that these three liner has been already executed, and now the current value of n is 100, current value of sum is 0, and current value of I is 1. So now this loop will start executing. And what I have said, the statement, the while loop, how while loop works, that these particular this is called the body of while loop. This body will execute again and again until this means till this condition is true. Whenever every time when this condition is true, it will execute these lines. And when this condition will be false, it will come out from this. So now here, if before executing this one line, just concentrate on this. uh, if you see here, what is the current value of I? Check here. Current value of I is 1, and what is the value of n is 100. So do you think this statement is true now, that 1 less than equal to 100? Yes, it is true. 1 less than equal to 100. So it will go to the next line. Now the next line is saying sum equal to sum plus I. So now first concentrate on this this statement. What is this? Sum plus I. What is the current value of sum? If you go your move your cursor here, you can see current value of sum is 0, and current value of I is 1. You can also see it here, 0 and 1. So 0 plus 1 is 1. So after executing this line, the new value of sum, this new value of sum will be 1. See, now the new value is 1. Okay, and now we have to execute this line. So after executing this line, the new value of I will be 2, because current value of I is 1. So I equal to I plus 1 means next I will be incremented by 2. See, so now see the magic. After executing this line, it is again returned here. That's why it is called loop, as explained here. After executing this line, it control will again go here. See, again go here, and again it will check the condition: I equal to less than n or not. Less than equal to I is less than equal to n or not. Now just check yourself, what is the value of I? Check here. Check here, what is the value of I? I is 2. And what is the value of n? 100. So 2 is less than equal to 100. Yes, it is true. Again it will enter. Again it will enter here, and now again this line will be executed, this green line, sum equal to sum plus I. Now try to find out what is the current value of sum. You can check here. Current value of sum is 1, and what is the current value of I? Current value of I is 2. So sum is 1, I is 2. So 1 plus 2, what is the value? 3. So the new value of sum will be 3. Check here, just observe here, after executing this line, this 1 will be replaced by 3. See, it is replaced by 3. So now the next line. Next line is simply incrementing the I value of I. What is the current value of I? Current value of I is 2. So after executing this line, the next value of I will be 3, and control will again go from here to here. See, again go to here to here. Now again it will check for I less than equal to n or not. What is the current value of I? Current value of I is 3. So obviously 3 is less than equal to 100. Again it will enter here. Now again it will go for sum equal to sum plus I. So what is the current value of sum? Current value of sum is 3. What is the current value of I? Is 3. So 3 plus 3 equal to 6. So after executing this line, this green line, now the next value of sum will be 6. So this 3 will be replaced by 6. Just let me execute this line. 1 2 3. See, after executing this, now it is 6. Now next line is simply incrementing the value of I. So if I execute this line, then the value of 3, this 3 will be incremented to 4. Okay, in this way it will keep on going until when this condition will be failed. When this condition will be failed, this condition will be failed only when the value of I is more than 100. right? Value of I is more than then only. So it means that till 100 we have to, from 1 to 100 will repeat this step again and again, again and again, and in this way we are adding all the numbers from 1 to 100. So you can see here, if I go for I equal to 4, it will again now I equal to 5, again it will do C. So if you check this, I am executing it again and again, again and again, the same step it is executing and it is looping. This is called loop, means same step you are executing again and again until a condition is true. And you can check here, the how values are changing and what is the current value of I. Current value of I is only 29. That means we have to execute it more number of times until it reaches 100. I will do it for you. Just observe the values how they are changing. Okay, see, the values are changing for you. Now it is 43, 44. So what does it mean? That now the well you can see that up to 45 means 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 45 is done, and the result is 990. So now I'm continuing it up to 100, and you can check here the same line is executing again and again in program. Same line is executing. Yes, same body, means inside while loop there are two lines, so these two lines are executing again and again. Why it is executing again and again? Because the condition given in while loop is always true till now. From the beginning I is still less than equal to n, so it is still executing without any problem, because the condition is still true. But you can check the values of I. Now it is already reached 86, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94. Okay, now if I execute it again, now the value of I is 100. So do you think now it will be correct? Yes, 100 is less than equal to 100. Less than equal to means less than or equal to. So I, current value of I is 100. See, current value of I is 100. So 100 is less than equal to n, right? Because n is also 100. So this time also it will be true. It will go inside, it will execute, and now the value of I will be 101. After 101, when it will go here, what is the value of current value of I now? Current value of I is 101. And what is the value of n? N is 100. So 101 is less than equal to n. 101 is less than or equal to 100. No, so the statement will be false. The moment the statement will be false, it will not enter here, and it will jump out from this while loop and go to this printf. See, just let me execute this while loop now. See, it will jump. So what did you understand from here? That whatever you will write inside a while loop, this thing will repeat again and again. It will execute again and again until this condition, whatever condition you will write here, is true. But the moment it is false, it will come out here. What is the current value of sum? 5050. That is the expected values, right? So the moment now, if I click again in this button, then this line, this printf line will be executed, and it will print the value of sum, which is 5050. Okay, so now this is called debugging. So but how we actually run a program, we don't do all these things, right? Now when we run a program, we simply, what we do, let me clear this for you. It is not clearing anyway. I'm running. If I run this code now here, what it will do, it is simply running and giving you output. As I said, ignore these lines, ignore this line, this is your output. So it is simply giving you 5050, but actually internally it is doing all the steps just I have explained you, one by one, one by one, one by one. Is repeating all the step again and again, again and again. And after repeating this 100 amount of times, then only it is coming out here and printing this result. But since the computer is very fast, it is repeating all this thing, it is doing all this thing very fast, and you can't imagine that it is repeating again and again. But ultimately it is doing all this task. Means this part is repeating multiple amount of times, and that can be visible if we go for step by step execution. That is called debugging, that I have just explained you. Okay, so you have to understand what is the concept of loop, because it will be required for your next lab assignment. Now let me write the same step here, whatever I have written with while loop, with something else. No, let me show you some more interesting thing here. This is while loop. If I comment out this line, what will happen? Now this line is commented. This means I am not changing the value of I. What is the value of I here? Value of I is 1, and I am not changing the value of I. So what will happen if I start debugging this code here? Okay, so now see, what is the value of I? Every time value of I will be 1. Check here, value of I is 1, because here we initialize the value of I equal to 1, and now we are not incrementing the value of I here because it is commented out. So this line, there is only one line now inside the while loop body. So sum is incrementing but I is not increment, as sum is increasing but I is not incrementing. So what is the meaning? That every time this condition will true, because I is 1 and n is 100, so this condition will be always true. What does this mean? That this means that this for loop will repeat infinitely. This every time, there is no ending of this loop, it will run infinitely. That means your program will never ever end. So why I'm explaining this? Because at initial stage when you write your program, you may do this type of mistakes. Or what is the mistake here? That your loop is a infinite loop. This loop will never end. So you have to take care of all these things, that whatever you are, if whenever you are writing a while loop or any other looping statement, always check that your terminating condition is proper or not. In this case, it is not, it will not terminate. Let me stop debugging and run it for you directly. I will run this code for you, and then you can check that this, see, the program is not giving any output. Why it is not giving any output? It because it is not reaching here. As we, if you remember, I have explained you that the moment program reach return 0, then only it stop executing, right? But here, why it is not giving anything? Because you're programming executing here again and again, and it is not coming out from while loop. Only after, if it can come out from while loop, then only it can do execute this line, na, printf line. But it is not possible, because since you have not given any, you are not incrementing the value of I is always 1 but n is 100. So this condition is always true, so it is looping again and again, and it will not stop until I forcefully stop it. So what I'll do, I'm forcefully stopping the program. Okay. So remember this, the terminating condition of a for looping statement must be correct. So now let me change this while this code with something else. This is very interesting also. Means there are there are three ways to write a loop statement. This is one way, while loop. Now I'll replace this with a for loop. For I equal to 1, I less than equal to 100, I plus plus, and here I will write only one line, sum equal to sum plus I, done. And I am making this as comment. This is not required. I hope you remember what is called comment. Now this is actually not a part of your code, this while loop, because I am commenting, this is commented out. Okay. And in case of this for loop, actually this I is also not required to initialize here. Also you can remove this I from here, it is not required at the beginning. You can write directly here integer I equal to this. So this is called for loop. How? It is doing exactly the same work that it was, that the previous program was doing. How it is doing the same work? The for loop is, this is the most well known looping statement. Every time people write a for loop only. While loop is also well known, but maximum time people try to use a for loop. So what is a for loop here? Initially you are giving the variable, the initial value of I, you are using a variable I, this is called indexing variable. So your initial value of I is 1, same as this value, initial value of I is 1. So there are three statements inside this for loop, we can say. This is the first statement, and then after semicolon there is another statement, and there is another statement here. So there are three parts inside this for loop expression. The first part is initialization, means the variable I, the initial value of I should be 1. So if you remember, in when I have explained while loop here, there was a variable here, like it was like this, integer I equal to 0. That means initialization was before the starting of while loop, right? But this is not required for loop here. And for loop, this first part is for initialization part. Now I am initializing I equal to 1. Then second part is called the checking condition. This is the condition that I was checking here. The same condition I have to check here. So I have did a mistake. This should not be 100, it should be n. This is the same condition I'm checking here. And I plus plus is actually I'm incrementing the value of I. So I plus plus and I and this statement I equal to I plus 1 are the same thing. So uh, I will explain this what is called I plus plus later, but you can for now you can assume that I writing I plus plus and writing I equal to I plus 1 are exactly same thing. The meaning is I'm incrementing I every time. If the current value of I is 5, after I plus plus it will be 6. If the current value of I is 6, after I plus plus it will be 7. Like this every time incrementing it by 1, incrementing it by 1. This is the same thing I'm doing here. So always remember I equal to I plus 1 can also be written as I plus plus. Here also you can write it in your previous program. Instead of while you could have also write it like this way, it was also correct, but this is easy for your understanding. Now I'll explain all these parameter, all these operator like I plus plus, I minus minus later. So what I was explaining here, for loop there are three parts inside this expression. This is for initialize part. This will execute only once and only initialize the value of I as 1. Next it will check this condition. If this condition is true, this statement will execute same as while loop. After executing this statement, it will again return control here and it will increment the value of I. How it will increment the value of I? By this statement. This statement will increment the value of I, and then again it will check here I less than n or not. If less than n is, if it is true, then it will again come here and this is, and it will continue like this. So let me debug this code for you. It will start from here. So if I execute this line, just concentrate on the variables. When after executing this line, the value of n will be 100. After executing this line, the value of sum will be 0. And now the program reached this for loop. So now from here, the program will start executing. And as I explained you that in case of for loop, whenever the first time this line will be executed, this part will execute. This part, integer I equal to 0. That means initialization part. This will execute only the first time. So and after initializing this I equal to 1, it will check this condition also. So this condition is I equal to I less than equal to n or not. This will check after initializing. So first of all I will be 1, then it will check whether 1 is less than equal to 100 or not, because the value of n is 100, so which will be true. So the control will come here. So let me click here. See, now the control is here. So what did in line number 14, what executed? Actually in line number 14, since the for loop was executing first time, initially I was initialized to 1, and then it will check this condition whether I is less than equal to n or not. Yes, current value of I is 1 and current value of n is 100. You can see here also. So this statement was true, so we came here in this line. So now if we execute this line, what will be the output, or what will, no sorry, not output, what will be the value of sum? Current value of sum is 0 and current value of I is 1. So 0 plus 1 is 1. So new value of sum will be 1. You can check here after clicking next step, then this sum will be 1, and again control will go from here to here. Let me click. See, now the value of sum is 1, and now control is again from here, it repeats and goes here. So now this is the second time, not the first time. So second time when the control will come here, this initialization step will not execute. This execute only the first time. So from second time when it will come here, first of all this line will execute I plus plus, which means I equal to I plus 1. So first of all the value of I will be incremented. So what is the current value of I? Current value of I is 1. So first of all the value of I will be I plus 1, that is I will be 2, and then again this condition will be checked, and if this condition will be true, then again result control will come here. So obviously current value of I is 1. When it will increment, the new value will be 2. Then if 2 is less than equal to 100 or not, yes, 2 will be less than equal to 100. So again control will come here. So let me click here. The moment I'll click here, you'll see the value of I will be changed to 2. See, now value of I is changed to 2. So what happened just during this previous click? In before, first of all they change the value of I from 1 to 2, because previous value was 1, so it is incremented to 2. And next they check this condition whether this condition is satisfying or not. Yes, this condition will satisfy because I was 2 and n is 100, so this statement is true. So it is again entered in this for loop, and now we have to execute this statement again. So we'll state this statement, execute this statement again. So now if we execute this statement, what is the current value of sum? Current value of sum is 1. And what is the value of I? Value of I is 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3. So new value of sum will be 3. Okay, let me click here. See, It is current value of sum is 3. Now again the program control reaches here. Those is the third time. So every time after the first step, this will be executed. So now the value of I will be incremented from 2 to 3, and then it will check whether for 3 is less than equal to 100 or not. If it is true, again it will come here. Obviously it will be true because 3 is less than equal to 100. So if you click here, see the value of I is now 3, and now control is again here. So in this way it will keep on executing. See, I'll see it is executing the same line again and again, again and again. You can check the values are changing here. See, values are changing here. And up to which point this will execute? Up to until this the condition written inside for loop, that is I less than equal to n, this condition becomes false, this will execute. And when this condition will false, this condition will only false. See, value of n is not changing. You can check here, value of n is always 100. So when this condition will false, to make this condition false, the value of I must be more than 100. That is, the first time when it is reached 101, this condition will false. What is the current value of I? It is 62. So let me continue this execution like this. Why I have to click here every time? Because it is a step-by-step execution. It is called debugging. You no need to do this, because when you just click run once, it is automatically do all this repetition and just print the final result. See, current value, check the current value of I. It is 96 now, 97 now, 98, 99, now 100. For 100 it is now current I value of I is 100. So now we'll go here. What is the current value of sum? Current value of sum is this. And what is the value of 100? So value of I is 100. So the new value of sum will be 4950 plus 100. And after this, control will again go from here to here. See, what is the new value of sum? Is 5050. And now control is again back to for loop. Okay. But now here, what is the current value of I? Current value of I is 100. So as I said, that every time except the first time, whenever control reaches for loop, first of all we execute this line, we'll increment the value of I. So current value of I is 100. If you increment it, what will be the new value? 101, right? After becoming 101, we'll compare this with here, that I is less than equal to n or not. What will be the new value of I? Is 101. So 101 is less than equal to 100? No. So statement will be false. The moment the statement will be false, the control will jump from here to here, right? Let me execute this line. See, control jumps from here to here. It is not repeating anymore. So until when it will repeat this for loop? Until this condition is true. Now this condition is not true, so it is jump here. So now what is the current value of sum? Current value of sum is 5050. So now if you want to print this, that means when you execute this line, it will print the value, this value of current value of sum, that is 5050. So let me execute this program now. See, the sum is 5050. It is executing. So but how we actually execute a program? We simply click run, and we click run, it will simply give us this output. But internally the program is doing all the repetition task for you, but in very fast manner that you can't see these repetitions, right? So here also it is very important that you have to increment this I every time. If we don't increment it like this, if we write here that I equal to I every time, it is not wrong, but again you are not incrementing I, so this terminating condition is not reaching. So every time it will repeat again, it will indefinitely loop here, it will never end. Okay. And as I said, that instead of writing I plus plus here, you can also write I equal to I plus 1. Both are same thing, and both are correct also. You run the code, see, you will get the result also. See, the same thing. So it is instead of writing I equal to I equal to I plus 1, you can write I plus plus. Both are exactly same thing. Okay. So I hope I have explained you the what is called loop. This is called while loop, and this is called for loop. These are two very well-known looping statement used. Another looping statement is also there. It is called do while, but that I will explain when later, not now. So these two looping statement will be enough for your next week assignment. This week assignment is based on if else. Next week will be based on looping, and you can either use while loop or for loop. Okay. So I what I did here, I just implemented this flowchart using both while loop and for loop. So what is your assignment is, you can do this. If you remember this flowchart that I have explained, so this flowchart has also looping behavior. See, it is also looping behavior. So convert this flowchart into a C program using both while loop and for loop. This is your home assignment. You try to do this, and if you can do it successfully, then I'll assume that you have understood while loop and for loop both. Okay, so I'm stopping here. This is a introduction of looping statement in C programming. Always remember that all this syntax of C I'll again explain when I'll explain you all these things from book chapters. Okay, but now I am just preparing you for the lab assignments. Okay, I'm stopping here.